This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Dustin Hoffman.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Hoffman. Today is Wednesday, the 17th of December, 2025. I'm so glad you could join us here today. Coming up a little later on the program, we will look at the closing numbers with the folks at agmarket.net. But first, we're going to hear from Michael Porter of John Deere, talking a little bit about their autonomous tillage machines and what they've learned in 2025. Talking autonomous tillage today. Michael, thanks so much for taking the time to visit with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so Commodity Classic, we got to see the equipment right in front of us and talk a little bit about the autonomy and the technology. Tell us about how 2025 went and what farmers need to know about it here as we're getting ready for the 26 growing season.
Yeah, no, absolutely. 2025 has been really good. It's been kind of a shift where we've gone from really the testing phase to more of the production phase and letting customers install the kits on their tractors. And now as we look forward to 26, we're excited that we've opened up ordering for really the rest of the United States. So 47 of the 50 states now have the ability to order these kits to use autonomous tillage this spring.
All right, and so talk a little about the fact that obviously you said right there the kits, so we could obviously retrofit that on some of our equipment because sometimes it can be a little bit of a hassle where you think, oh, I got to buy new equipment or I've got to get all this, and I don't actually have the budget to do it. Here, you guys can go in and just kind of retrofit some of the existing equipment.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a big installed base of tractors and tillage tools out there, and customers, especially right now, times are tight. They're trying to make decisions that increase their efficiency on their farm and their profitability, and this is one of the ways they can do it. So we can go back to early model year 20 and a half and newer 8s and 22 and newer 9s. And when they order the kit, it comes with everything they need. If they need a new display, if they need cameras, obviously all the machines will need the cameras. If they need a brake valve or anything like that, comes in a kit, install it on their machine, and enables autonomous tillage, whether it's a 5-year-old machine or a brand new one on the lot.
All right, so let's talk again. Let's remind our listeners, viewers here about the autonomous tillage machine and why that is such a game changer for them.
Yeah, it's really unlocking more time in the day. I think one of those things that there's no more time in the day, right?
Right.
But customers, especially in the busy seasons, spring and fall, maybe they don't have enough bodies to get the planter running, to keep tractors and the combine running in the fall and to get all their stocks ripped. So this allows them to take a machine to a field, put it in the field, swipe on their phone, and allow that machine to go autonomously till the field. So in the spring, it keeps the tillage tool in front of the planter tractor, and in the fall, gets all the stocks ripped after the combine before it freezes.
And so how much control do the farmers have during this autonomous function? They're going to make sure that they want to have some semblance of control over it. I mean, how does that work?
So when they pull into the field, they can do a lot of the work ahead of time. So they can go look at the field in our operations center and really plan out what they want it to do. I want it to till this direction at this speed, this depth. They can set all those, get to the field and start it. And if they want to make adjustments, they do it all from their phone. So then when maybe they are running a combine a couple miles away, they can pull up those camera feeds on their phone, see the quality of job they're doing, and then make any adjustments on the fly right from their cell phone.
Okay, and then how hard is it for them to, obviously you say on the fly, but how does that, what's the parameters, I guess I should say, or what's the capability of making those adjustments, or how often would they have to come back and just double check on things?
Yeah, so it's really up to them. So I'd say in general for the adjustments, they can set everything from anything they can do in the cab, they can do remotely with their phone. That allows them to actually call into the machine and see the display live and actually manipulate the controls. So anything they can do in the cab, they can do. Any physical changes, obviously they'd have to come to the machine if they needed to mess with the actual tool itself. And then for coming back, it's really up to them. That's what the cameras are for, allow them to view remotely. But really the goal is for them to start the machine, come back when it's done, and move it to the next field.
So obviously we know when tillage, it's nothing unusual for a farmer to be looking out of that cab and they see a rock sitting in front of them. What's that machine going to do if there's some kind of an obstacle in the way?
Yeah, so an obstacle that's in the field, like you said, debris, rock, it'll actually stop, send them an alert saying, hey, there's something in the field, and then give them the option. Do you want to route around this? Do you want to stop and come out and move it later? So most of the customers today, if they want to maintain the productivity, they'll use our route around function. It'll route around that obstacle, re-engage, and keep on going. And then when they come to pick the machine up later, they'll go back to the flag in the field and maybe pick up that rock and clean it up or do whatever they need to. If it's something bigger than that, maybe it's something, a giant wet spot in the field that they're unsure of, they can go ahead and hit stop, and the machine will do a cool down period and actually shut itself off until they come back out there and recover it.
And I guess another thing that farmers are probably going to worry about is the fact that if something happens in the combine or the tractor and you're controlling it, you kind of know, okay, I got to shut it down, or something's not right, I got to look into it. What's the machine going to do to tell, if you're doing it autonomously, what's it going to tell the farmer, say something's not right here, we need to stop and look at this right now? How does it handle that?
Yeah, any diagnostic code will automatically stop the machine, send an alert to the operator, and then based on the code, it'll give them a lot of different options as to how they want to handle it. You know, if it could be something as simple as, hey, I'm getting low on fuel, right? Or it could be, hey, I've got a trouble code that I'm not aware of or not sure what to do with or that you need to interact with. And again, it'll shut itself off and then wait for you to come and do what you would normally do with a machine.
All right, and sounds good. And then how does that work and then interface then if something comes up with like a trouble code and then, hey, I got to get a hold of the dealer to get somebody out there to look at it. Can that be done by the phone if we already look at that, or is that something you're going to come physically do and then call the dealership physically?
Yeah, it really depends on probably the trouble code, but for a lot of our customers that have really good partnerships with their dealers are partnered with them, and they would have the ability to get those same alerts that the customer does if they choose to partner with their dealer that way. Okay. So a dealer could get those same alerts and maybe reach out to the customer and say, hey, I saw that your tractor's got an alert, you want us to go take a look at it. But also they'd get that alert and hopefully that code gives them some idea of what could be wrong, so that way they could bring any parts maybe be needed.
All right, well, Michael, if folks want to get that conversation rolling and look into the technology and maybe get those orders placed, what's the best way for them to get that conversation started?
Yeah, best place is always start with their local John Deere dealer. They have all the information to get them started, and if not that, then Deere.com.
All right, well, Michael Porter's been our guest here with John Deere on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. That again was Michael Porter of John Deere here on Ag Matters PM, and it's time now to look at the closing markets, and for that we turn to Jason Meyer of agmarket.net. Jason, what do we see happen in those grains today?
Yeah, the grain markets were mixed here today. The soybeans continued their slide downward. They did hit the 200-day moving average and were able to find some support and close well off today's lows. But beans have been pressured with great weather in Brazil and Argentina. Those guys have both been getting some good rains. Now, there's some talk that maybe Argentina and southern Brazil might be getting a little bit dry, but the market's not too concerned about that. On the flip side, Trump putting an embargo or armada on Venezuelan oil kind of led the oil market to rally a little bit, and I think that also helped the corn market. As well as we had an ethanol number today. We had record production, but we saw a drawdown in ethanol stocks, so that bodes well for ethanol demand.
All right, and then moving over to the livestock side of things, cattle and hogs today, Jason. I know cattle had a good day yesterday. Hogs even had a pretty decent day. Did that momentum continue?
That momentum, unfortunately, did not continue today. To start the day, cattle traded kind of both sides of unchanged, and as the day progressed, got a little bit weaker. You can maybe look at the weather forecast. It's supposed to be a little bit nicer as we go along. The big market mover today was in the hog market, where the Mexican government might have an anti-probing probe on the U.S. dumping some pork into Mexico. So that put the hog market under pressure from the get-go here this morning.
All right. Well, if folks want to look at some of the intel you guys are following and maybe get some ideas of what they should be thinking about for their market strategies, especially as we go into the new year, Jason, what's the best way for them to get that conversation started?
The best way to do that and get the conversation started is to go to our agmarket.net website and then sign up for a 30-day free trial and start getting our information. Then one of myself or my teammates will reach out to you.
All right. Well, Jason, we thank you so much for the insight and look forward to talking to you again very soon.
Thanks, Dustin. Have a great day, everybody.
And that again was your closing market analysis from agmarket.net. Let's take a look at how the numbers ended the day on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network market screen. At the close, March corn was up 4 at 440 and a half. January beans down 4 and a half at 1058 and a quarter. Soybean meal down $4.20 at 298.20. Soy oil up 16 cents at 48.52. Chicago wheat down 3 and a quarter at 506 and a quarter. Kansas winter wheat up 2 3/4 at 507 3/4. Kansas spring wheat down 1 3/4 at 547 and a quarter. Minneapolis spring wheat down 3 cents at 562 even. Oats up 9 and a half at 286 3/4. On the Merc, live cattle down $1.15 at $229.55. Feeders down $1.80 at $341.52. Lean hogs down $1.77 at $83 even. Pork cutouts unchanged at $93.75. And Class 3 milk up 6 cents at $15.91. And that's been a check of your closing markets, and that brings us to the end of today's show. Find all our content online at iowaagnet.com. From the IRN studios in Des Moines, I'm Dustin Huffman. For Mark Magnuson and Riley Smith, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.